webinar started. And again, my name is Paul Keller, everyone. I'm with C3 Softworks. We're in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota. It's a very mild 40 degrees here it's going to be today. It's just an absolute, it's like shorts weather here for most of us Minnesotans. So it's just a great day to be outside. It's sunny and 40 degrees, which is like 20 degrees, at least 20 degrees warmer than it normally is. So we're going to be demonstrating a product today called TALLY. This is a new software we just rolled out a couple of weeks ago. It allows for classroom engagement. It allows your audience to answer questions, whether they be open-ended, multiple choice. It could be a chat that you want to invite them to do. You can even share a picture on the phone and have them click somewhere on the picture, and I'm going to be demonstrating this in a minute, and how they can select the picture on their phone to the correct portion of the picture, or maybe it's a place on the picture you want them to click on. So that's called hotspot, picture hotspot, and some of you are probably familiar with that already. Anyway, bottom line is this is a software program that's specifically designed to engage, to motivate, and get results. You're going to be tracking scores, tracking feedback, tracking answers during this entire time in a whole new way. So I want to introduce to all of you to TALLY. Again, if you want to participate, you want to sample how this actually works, get out your phone or a tablet, go to c3tally.com/6264, and you'll be able to type in your name, and that's all that's needed. There's no download. You don't have to go to an app store or anything like that. For those of you that have any questions, feel free to send them to me through GoToWebinar's question pane. It's on the bottom, towards the bottom of your pane there, and you can send those over to me, and I'll be happy to answer those as we move along here. C3 Softworks is a software company that's been around for almost 10 years now, and we are focused on helping trainers easily create customizable games and quizzes for the classroom, for e-learning, and for mobile learning. Obviously, this is a big trend in the industry now, is using mobile devices more and more. In the next week or so, I'll be going to the training conference in San Diego, and I guarantee you there'll probably be at least 5 or 6 vendors out there that are doing something and speakers talking about mobile learning. So it's obviously a trend that's increasingly is growing ever more increasingly. If you're not familiar with our software programs, we offer a vast array of different template-based programs. These are easy-to-use shells that you can put your own content into. Software programs like Bravo, Pronto, these are game tools that you can use. And not just in the classroom, but on mobile devices. You can use them on your PC or Mac, and it's just a nice way to do content review and do assessment in a variety of different ways. If you're doing webinars, and kind of what I'm doing right now through GoToMeeting, you can use our games and you can use TALLY in a live webinar session as well. It's a great way to break up monotony sometimes in these hour-long, 2-hour-long webinar training sessions where you don't always know if they're really kind of staying with you. So keep that in mind as a use of games in training. Bravo, if you're not familiar with it, are Hollywood-style games like Jeopardy, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Very familiar style games, but all designed to help you teach, to help you do review. We've allowing you to add pictures and video and all kinds of different content into these games to help to teach and to make more of an impact with your audience. Pronto is another style of games. The builder works the same way as Bravo. It's just a different style of games, perfect for energizers, icebreakers. There's battle sequences. There's races to the moon. It's basically designed as a way to get your group quickly engaged for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and then move on to something else. They're all very tongue-in-cheek games, but perfect to help kind of lift the energy in the room a little bit and add some competition. These games can also be played online and work quite nicely on a phone or PC if you want to play self-paced as well. So without that, that's just a quick introduction to what we do as a company. And again, if if you'd like more information, I'm going to leave you with my contact information and how you can reach me and get started with this. Everyone that's attending the webinar today, I just want to point this out, is going to get a free license to the program that runs through February. We'll email it to you at the end of the conference here, and it'll be a license key that you can just punch in. So if you want to try these games out, if you want to try Tally out, you'll just use the link that we send you and a coupon code, and that'll give you complete access to it. So I just want to make sure I mention that before we end the session here. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Let's see where everyone's at with the registering. Okay, looks pretty good here. So this is the opening of my screen. If you can see it okay, I'm using kind of a gold background here. One of the things I just want to confirm with everyone that this is software that you customize. You brand it however you want to. It's real easy to do. There's a graphics button in the software that allows you to kind of put your logo in there and your colors and all that. So here I've asked my audience to register ahead of time. Now I'm guessing there's going to be a few more people logging in during the session as well, and that's just fine. At the very top of the screen here, there'll be the address that you can go to on your phone to register. So latecomers are welcome to come as well. I'm monitoring the group up here in the upper right-hand corner, so I'm making sure that all 20 or 21 or whatever it is are getting their answers in on a timely basis. There's also a leaderboard that I can give, that I can show during the call if I click the down arrow here, and I can kind of scroll through and see how everyone's doing during the session. I'm not going to use this. Again, this is not so much a competition as just a way to sample the interaction of the software. But I just want to point out that it has a leaderboard. You can have competition. You can even have teams playing with one another. It's kind of a fun way to do this sort of thing. We start out with the software by introducing, hello everyone, this is Paul Keller. Welcome to my Minnesota game. I've got the University of Minnesota's Golden Gophers here with Goldie here in the foreground. Let's go ahead and get started. My first question is a simple one. Hopefully all of you are calling from the United States. Sometimes I get callers coming in from Canada or London or something. But if you can, go ahead and use your phone now. You'll need to click the submit button, but just click on that map on your phone of where you're calling from, and then I can get a general idea of my demographics here. Somebody is calling in from Montreal. I apologize, Gabrielle. Next time I think I'm going to have just a map of the globe. Would be more accurate that way. Calling in from the United States, calling in from Mars. Okay, so basically we're just getting in. Oh, very good. Thanks. Kara's calling in from Barrie, Ontario. So we are getting some friends from Canada here, not too far from our frigid state of Minnesota here. So as people are joining the webinar, folks, I'm demonstrating how you can use Tally on your phone. If you want to go to the web address here, c3tally.com/6264. There's nothing to download or anything. This will allow you to participate in the call here. It's just a fun way to see how Tally works on your mobile devices. All right, I've got enough people that have registered so far, so I'm going to go ahead and click next. Here we go, and you can see the map here. We've got quite a few people from Minnesota. That's cool. Somebody from Wisconsin, some people from the West Coast. So this, again, is just a kind of a general idea where everyone's at. Nobody from the West Coast. That's interesting. Maybe next time we'll need to do a webinar that's a little bit later in the day. That probably would help. Okay, Chad, doesn't look like you quite got any. Chad says he's from South Dakota, not North Dakota. So we may be tweaking this picture hotspot a little bit to make it accurate. One of the things that I'm showing you with this map here is you'll notice that these pictures, these boundaries are kind of tight. So we'll, as we move along with the updates on the software, that'll become a little bit more accurate. All right, let's go on to the next question here. This is open-ended, so I won't see your answers. You can go ahead and just type something in here. Can you guys know what the capital of Minnesota is? And I'll give you a hint. It's the Twin Cities. It's Minneapolis and blank. Okay, yeah, this is a skyline of the city, and the capital of Minnesota. It's there's two cities in the Twin Cities. Obviously, it's Minneapolis, and the other one is blank. The city happens to be one of the cities across the river, the Mississippi River. It's about 15 minutes from here. All right, we'll go on and click next. Answer is actually St. Paul. It's a lovely city if you like Siberia, of course. It's an area a lot of St. Paulites is where the Minnesota Wild play, the hockey team. A lot of rock concerts and such play in the arena. It's considered one of the slower, sleepier cities. Downtown Minneapolis is where all the kind of the night spots are and everything. So if you've ever been to Twin Cities, I love St. Paul. It's actually one of my favorite cities, but downtown Minneapolis is kind of where it's all at least for now anyway. Here's a kind of an interesting question. What do you think Minnesotans do during their long winter? And be careful, this is a family-oriented webinar here. Now, this is a chat bubble here, so as you type in your answers, I will see them appear here on the screen. A lot of hibernating. Ice fishing, Netflix, yes, absolutely. This is very interesting. Skiing, staying inside, store up for winter, ice fishing, eating, building a snowman, a lot of hockey, sit by the fire. All these answers are very interesting. Winter sports, absolutely. Hibernate, good. So as I'm showing you the chat bubble here, guys, these are, I just scroll through. So you may have 100 to 200, 300 people on a call, and as you do, you just continually scroll down here to see your answers. And I want to just point out, all of these answers are being recorded so that we can go back and see the report at the very end. It all links up to the C3 Cloud reports page where I can see how everyone reported. So those answers that you just gave me on what's the capital of St. Paul, you didn't see everyone's answers, but I did record them. So I just want to point out the difference there. All right, let's go on to the next question. What percentage of Minnesotans ice fish? I saw a few of you said ice fish. What do you think the percentage is in Minnesota that ice fish? Is it 10%, 40%, or 70%? So multiple choice, this is fairly standard. As I'm showing you the screen in a live session, you're seeing the answers on your phone and you're able to interact that way. You can also offer feedback on the phone. So if you get this answer wrong, one of the options is I can provide feedback for you that's programmed into the software. So it can be personal as you're playing along. You can kind of personalize this to a certain degree so that you can emphasize the right or wrong selections accordingly. Here's that report. And 50%, a little over 50% said 40%. That's interesting. And of course, 70% would be a little high. Yes, of course. It's actually 10% is the approximate number of Minnesotans ice fish. I love to fish, but I've done it a few times in my life. But it's kind of a strange sport in a way. You usually sit in an ice house. Some people just sit out in the open on a big bucket, and they drill a hole. The ice is usually a good 1 foot thick, and you sit there in the elements and fish. Now, some of these ice houses are nicer than the home that I live in. They're immaculate. They've got beds, TVs, flat screen TVs, refrigerators, stoves, you name it. So there's a vast array of different ice houses out there. I thought this was kind of an interesting picture just out in the middle of nowhere here. So yeah, Minnesotans love ice fishing. About 10% of the population does it. And of course, there's other quirky things that we do in this state. We do things like, this has been a trend the last couple of years. If you go down the streets in South Minneapolis, people will take their jeans and soak them in water. And if it's a particularly cold day, they'll stick the pants out, and it's like frozen sculpture art. It's the most strange thing, and this is just like a trend now with Minnesotans here. So you'll see that down the street sometimes. So what this is, guys, these are kind of summary screens or slides that I'm showing you. And I just want to point out that Tally doesn't necessarily have to be just questions and answers. It can be your content, obviously, as you move through here. Boiling water toss. This is a thing that we did when we were kids. If it's minus 20 degrees out, you just take boiling water, throw it up in the air, and it instantly crystallizes. Yeah, that's another pastime here. And of course, if you live in Minnesota and you have a home and you're able to get access to the roof, you really need to rake the snow off your roof to avoid ice dams in the spring. This is just an absolute miserable job. It causes back break and all kinds of things. So don't you wish you lived in Minnesota? All right, last question of this particular multiple choice here. What do you think the coldest air temp is recorded in Minnesota? Is it minus 23, minus 40, or minus 60? Again, as everyone's entering in their answers, I'm just going up here to kind of gauge where everyone's at. Everyone's ticking down here. And again, anytime somebody can log into the session using this address above here. So I started the session with just 20 people, and now it's grown to 36. So thanks again, everyone, for coming in this morning and kind of getting a sample of how Tally works here. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next here. 60% said minus 60. I'm sorry, 40%, 48%, and then minus 40. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually minus 60. This came out quite a long time ago in the 90s here. It's not common, obviously. We get minus 40 quite a bit up north, and minus 20 a lot in the Twin Cities. But it's not that common, obviously, to get that cold. That air temp is that'd be pretty brutal. Last question here. This is another picture hotspot. Which one of these musicians is not from Minnesota? This is a pretty easy question here. We've got Bruce Springsteen, obviously, Bob Dylan, and Prince. So for those of you that joined later on this call, one of the things I did was I asked the callers to click on a map where they were calling from. This is just another way to ask a question in the form of a picture, and you click on that portion. These can be right or wrong, or it could just be survey-style questions, obviously. All right, we'll go ahead and click Next. By the way, you need to make sure you click Submit on your phone. In the multiple choice, you just click a button and it's in. But with the picture hotspot, you want to make sure you click Submit to get your answers in. Okay, let's see where everyone's at here. Interesting. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen, obviously, he's from the East. He's from Jersey, I believe, New Jersey. But Bob Dylan, he grew up in northern Minnesota, in Hibbing. He doesn't really have a home here or anything, and we rarely even visits Minnesota, quite honestly, but we claim him as our own. And Prince obviously grew up here, lived here, had a studio here, and now they've turned it into a museum, very similar to the Elvis Presley. In fact, the same folks that have run Elvis Presley's museum runs Prince's museum, or got it started anyway. So he just died, obviously, just recently. So yeah, so that's another example of picture hotspot. All right, this is an excellent chance now to ask any questions that you have about Tally using that chat bubble, that same chat bubble that we talked about earlier. Any questions at all? Go ahead and fire away. Is there a maximum number of users? Vanita asks. Yes, there is not, Vanita. I'm sorry. There's no really limit. Obviously, the more answers you have here, the more you've got to scroll through, but you can have hundreds of people playing in this. Pricing, yes, I'll talk about that in a minute. A lot of questions about pricing. Can Tally events stored and run from an LMS? Yes, you can track your scores to a learning management system. Absolutely. All of our software tools have a SCORM setting to it. We can talk, if you have more questions about that, I'll provide my email address, and you can call or email me. What options are there for people without phones? Yeah, a laptop is probably going to be your next step. You can use just a tab in your browser, and that'll be your basically way to answer a question. Is it one-time price or tiered? Some more pricing questions. I'll get into that. Last question, did not allow me to click on a picture. What may have happened? Yeah, we're still tweaking the picture hotspot, guys. Again, the software just rolled out a couple of weeks ago, but so we're tweaking that accuracy a little bit. Sometimes it helps to maybe refresh, but I think in the next few days we'll be tightening that picture hotspot up a bit. It works on most devices just fine, but occasionally it doesn't go through. Can you do polling with real-time results and multiple entries on the same poll? Not yet, but yes, where that's going to be an update to the software, and those updates are automatically included. So I'm polling in real time, but multiple entries on the same poll. If I understand your question, Eric, if you're asking, can I select more than one right answer on a poll? Not yet, but eventually it will. So you can click on any number of answers if you wish. So that will be available. Is the software download per computer, so only one person can use it and present the software? So here's the basic crux of a lot of questions about pricing. Basically, this is a subscription service. You use it for a year. It's a one-year subscription. And up to there's different levels, but the 100 user level, that's the base level, it's $595 per year. So you get access to you log in basically from any PC, and you creates a login, like I'm showing you right now here. And you'll have your own personal login. It's the same login at every event. So once you type that into your phone and you open up another session, it'll remember it. So you don't have to type in a different code or any of that stuff. And so yeah, it's just basically a very straightforward, easy to use program that way. So $595 is the cost, one-year subscription, up to 100 people can play at a time. If you have more people playing, we have other tiers available. I'll provide my email address and phone number to call if you have questions on that. So thanks for playing this particular quiz. One thing I just want to point out, guys, is that we're going to be sending to all of you a free trial of the software. So you can get started with it and create, and you'll have absolute access to everything through the end of February. So we'll send that code over, we'll send that link and the coupon code over to you by this afternoon. So look for an email from me on that. Now, for those of you that want to see a quick snapshot on how this is created, I'm just going to go back to my TALLY presentation here. So this was all kind of running behind the scenes here, but basically you're going to go in and you're going to decide as you click on the, you're going to go to the C3 Cloud homepage, you'll click Create, and you'll get access to the Bravo Suite, the Prano Suite, and Presto. This is for mobile learning, for self-paced content review, and the new TALLY software. So I click on TALLY, and I click Start, and we start building in our content. You just go up here to click Content, and then add different multiple choice questions. The slide question, where I was showing you some examples of what us crazy Minnesotans do during the winter time. That's a slide. That's all it is. So you can put a series of slides in there. Chat bubble, getting that feedback from your audience in real time. Open-ended questions. It was just that, what's the capital of Minnesota, where I won't see the answers in real time, but I'll see them afterwards. And then image markers, where you're actually clicking on the picture. So you're just simply clicking on the question. You'll type in the question here, answer choices go in here, and then select the correct answer. Now, in some cases, these will be survey-style questions. You just click on the settings, and then you'll basically type in or click on the box poll question. There is no correct answer. So every question has its own set of kind of settings to it. Timers, feedback, which I did not use in the software, and then also preview and summary screens that kind of bookend your question. So all of this is provided within the question itself. and then we move on and we add another question. Chat bubble. Type in your question, answers will come in real time. So you can build in as many different questions as you like. And then all the rest of this up here, guys, is just allowing you to set up graphics. You can match your brand colors just by punching in the hexadecimal numbers here, and then go through and do shading, coloring with different buttons and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty straightforward, pretty straightforward, pretty intuitive, but we're happy to do a personal walkthrough. If any of you want to do more of a detailed GoToMeeting, we're happy to set that up as well. When you've created your quiz, you're going to click Publish, and this is where it's going to give you your own personal login code. This is what you're going to send out to your group. And again, everyone will have their own different number to choose from. So just make sure that when you create it, save your quiz, and then you can publish it, and this is what you'll send out to your audience to use on their mobile devices or their laptops. Okay, so that's just basically a quick snapshot of how to create a quiz. I know I just kind of skimmed over a lot of the basics, but again, if you want to do more of a detailed walkthrough, here's my information here, and I've got some questions down below here on my GoToWebinar, so I'm going to go ahead and answer these here. Hold on one second, I just need to